She is the winner of the Asian Young Designers Awards of 2020, says 2021's architectural category. She is an architectural designer who aims to create empathetic design for people who believe that creating design that aligns with the emotional context of the space and program will add more value. She represented Malaysia in July 2021 and won the Asia Young Designers Award of the Year, becoming the first ever Malaysian female to win AIDA in the architectural category. Please put your hands together for Dayana Aripin.
Hello, can you hear my voice? Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Dayana binti Aripin and today I will be presenting about my project, which is microhousing within heritage context. I believe that some of you here may heard this quote from John Gall, that each city has its own soul, built by the people, and it should not be erased by gentrification, because this is what is currently happening in Georgetown. And this project, of course, is to instill back the old soul into the city. Before that, let me take you back in time. Georgetown, as one of the UNESCO heritage city in the world, was known as a trading center, and it was flourished with so many people. And the cultures, what could I say, they're so vibrant. However, due to the gentrification and modernization, the soul of the city is dying. As far as I remember, Georgetown has always been a socio-culturally robust, attracting so many people. It is just a matter of time that the core soul of the city will be forever gone. As a summary, this timeline is showing the beautiful Georgetown itself. However, due to the Rent Act that was being repealed in 1999, it had caused many of Georgetown people to move out of the city center. And this has not only changed the demographic, but also the traditions among the community that it once had. And sadly, as it seems, Georgetown, or in larger scale Malaysia, we have been facing with unaffordable housing issues for a long time. Just imagine that people like you and me here, young people, we can't even afford to buy the house now, let alone to rent a house within the city center. And I believe that this is where microhousing came, where it demonstrates the capacity of providing homes in between urban spaces. But in this context, it is a city of heritage, Georgetown. As the name depicts, microhousing is a smaller scale house within urbanscapes. The intention is to cater for urban dwellers who want to reduce their rental price and traveling time to workplace. This intervention program could also bridge the gap of social decay and economical issues, as right now Georgetown has been relying too much on the tourism values. And look at us now. We have pandemic. Where we are at, the city is dying, really. And could bridge by the people. And I believe that we can interpret this as mutualism with regards to the context. Well, technically speaking, the dying cultures can only be preserved only if we allow the older generations here to pass their traditions to younger people, especially in the current time where isolation is needed. The interactions among those two groups are limited without proper intervention. And the idea is to bring in current generations into the site by allowing interactions among themselves. And this has led to the documentations of daily activities based on the demographic study. With this, we get to understand the idea of placemaking. Just imagine this, that the coexistence of different background and urban rejuvenation program combined will give a far greater value to the people, let alone the city itself, Georgetown. Well, the beauty of Georgetown lies in the architectural languages that we could find here. the notes that attract people, landmarks such as 𝗗𝗔𝗧𝗨𝗠 that give some sense of placemaking, districts of shop houses as well as fishermen villages are amazingly captured within this UNESCO heritage zone. And the site, it is divided at Victoria Street. The reason to do so is to play with two different urban components of where parcel number 1 that is located at Beach Street area have a lot more of category 1 and category 2 buildings, while parcel number 2 that is located at Wellkey area have a lot more of infill spaces with replacement buildings that are not associated with the heritage timelines. And regardless on how playful the intention to be within the zone, the site must always be respected. As I walk into the site, I realize that as a designer, as an architect, or as policymaker, the first thing we need to do is the revitalization program of the old shop houses along the perimeter. And adaptive reuse can be the perfect way to breathe in new life into the city. And microhousing can be placed into the second layer, secluded behind the shop houses. But the question is, what kind of sub-programs that will tie all of them together? Well, this exploded axonometry shows all the strategies that I had. Let's say on the first enclave, we give back the tendency of the old and new shop houses to rattan and old signboard maker. It would encourage higher demographics into the site. But given the condition that public must have higher awareness about our culture in Georgetown. And obviously, the microhousing will be placed into the second layer, but we could also turn some of the units there to daycare facilities, knowing that there will be families with little kids staying within the microhousing. Okay. As much as we take the land for the construction, we have to give it back to the community. And in order to do that, I place all the programs basically on the ground floor, connecting all those people together. Now, I want you to imagine that you are in Georgetown, or possibly in this image, walking from Armenian Street to Aceh Street. Then you stop by at some small lanes and you could see hawkers selling hot dogs or even ice creams, and you are amazed by the artworks. Wouldn't it be a wonderful day to enjoy? Suddenly, you saw kids riding bicycles and you managed to see your friends or daughter eating at the kopitiam. If I were you, I would greet them with smiles because I know what I had that day was like down the memory lane. Those kind of experience would be making me want to interact with people more, especially in this pandemic time where social interaction is hard to achieve. It gives us loneliness right now. Oh, sorry. Like in this overall image, where the urban treatment must not only consider the hardscapes or the softscapes or even the urban heat island issues that we're facing now, but the well-beings and the emotions of the people here. After all, those elements are corresponding to each other. The relationships of the old and new will always be interconnected with the roots and its people. And that is why I believe it is important to acknowledge the urban fabrics based on the layering of space and time. Just like in this image, where the two sites combined have around 5.2 acres of land, would be nothing without human activities, like an empty shells. And you can see here that the mother is walking through the gate with her kids. And this is the feeling that I had watching those old Chinese movies, walking through the gate as if we are entering a new phase of life. And I do wish the same for Georgetown. And as we continue walking into the site, we could see that there are about 117 units of microhousing, as well as 27 units of new shop houses located at the perimeter. The negative space will be turned into some active areas. And this could act as a transition connecting the main road into the internal parcel. And one of the examples here could turn into Vendor Street. And before we go to the upper level, there will be little cafes and hawker center greeting us at the third enclave. And the staircases are located there. This is to give an indirect interactions that could be happening among the community. Who knows? Suddenly the hawkers become our best friend, or the fruit seller is actually part of our family lineage. I believe that would be so interesting to track down back on our ancestry line. And we could see here that the communal activities are displayed on the ground floor from the second level. And this is where the light and shadows plays important roles in adding lively ambience into the site. As we go to the third floor, the number of micro-housings are dramatically reduced. This is to give a more private sharing spaces. And the image shown here is to assist the walk-through moments under the central roof, especially during daytime. And for the micro-housing units, I have around 4 to 5 types, but being shown here is only 4 that range from 150 square feet to 300 square feet. And the modules are actually extendable based on the needs and requirements. As for the sustainability features, the first thing that we need to look at is actually the site planning, where it involves the refurbishments of the 2 sites combined with the old heritage buildings. And the micro-housing is designed with little pocket spaces in between. This is to enhance a better daylighting effect as well as the landscaping effect. And the last part, which is the sustainable timber, are being used at the central roof part, which will be shown later in the video. Well, for the facade, the ideas are to reflect back on the surrounding roofscapes by following the rhythms from the aerial view and understanding the urban interlacing of the new and old components. The facade of microhousing is born. In fact, the screen of the facade itself is a reflection of the identity of places without taking direct images of the shop houses. The design is staggered from the first enclave to the third enclave as a way to protect the vista. In fact, the insertion of the metal elements like the king post roof structure is adopted in a way to give subtle impact to the design, and the overall height, it is limited to 18 meters from the roof edge. Well, for the structural elements, they are divided into 5 layers, but the main components are made up from steel and timber panels. Before I end this project, let me take you back into this video. This project is created to reminisce the beauty of Georgetown. And as we walk along the Aceh Street to the Victoria Street, the soul of the city will prevail. We have to understand that we can no longer freeze the human activities, regardless on how hard we try to design the city. It is with hope that microhousing could become the catalyst program to bind the people and the visitors all together. In order to understand the place itself, we have to learn to acknowledge the past and the present, because it is not always about the future. these are the walkthrough video under the connecting the main street to the internal parcels. I believe that micro-housing will be the future. For sure, the soul of the city can be repainted by the legacy of the people. And before I really end this, I just want to say thank you to 𝗗𝗧𝗨𝗠, as well as Datum, Pam, and Lam for inviting us, the AYDA winner, to speak here. It is such an honor. As well as, I would like to thank my mentor, which they are still here, I guess, Architect Zulkarnain Harun, Architect Tan Biu, Architect Sarli for coaching me. Thank you, everyone. And the rest who is not here, thank you so much.